They thought we were past our prime, settled, tame, nothing left to shock. So we gave them something they'd never forget, and their eyes stayed glued, burning with what they couldn't unsee. In Tucson, Arizona, the air was thick with heat and judgment. Mrs. Evans' Lila sprawled back in her chair, her dramatic sigh cutting the room like a stage cue. "Honestly, it's exhausting," she said, flopping against the armrest like she was performing for a crowd that wasn't there. "Every night like we're chasing some damn medal." "Mr. Evans." Charlie grinned, eyes fixed on his drink, the ice clinking like a warning. "What can I say? Some of us are still in our prime." Their laughter was too loud, too sharp, like a blade hidden in a joke. It wasn't banter, it was a challenge. For us, it was a stage. Tom sat beside me on the couch, one ankle crossed over his knee, his calm presence a quiet storm waiting to break. I felt him steady as Lila kept talking, her voice dripping with condescension like she was handing us a pity prize. She raised her glass, smirking at us in the hearts. "At least you don't have to worry about that anymore, right?" Her eyes flicked over me, sizing me up, dismissing me. "You've put in your time. Now you just relax, enjoy the quiet life. No need to keep up with all this." She waved a hand vaguely, her smile a taunt, daring us to admit we were done. Charlie chuckled, muttering, "They've earned it." Across from us, Mr. Hart Eddy glanced at his wife Sarah, then at the floor, his jaw tight like he was swallowing something bitter. Sarah forced a smile, shifting in her seat, her hand barely grazing his knee, a gesture that felt like surrender. They didn't argue, didn't push back like they'd already bought the lie that their fire had gone out. But we hadn't. I slid my hand across Tom's thigh, leaning into him, my fingers tracing the heat beneath his shirt as I set my wineglass aside. "Actually," I said, voice soft but sharp, like a knife slipping through silk, "we still do it most nights." Lila blinked, her smugness cracking like cheap glass. Charlie stared, his grin fading, his eyes darkening with something unspoken. I turned to Tom, my hand climbing his chest, feeling the steady pulse beneath, strong alive. "This guy's a beast in bed," I said, my voice low, daring them to challenge it. "Someone," Sarah gasped, quick and shallow, like she'd been caught peeking through a keyhole. Tom chuckled low, meeting Charlie's eyes. 23 years together," he said, calm, like he was stating a fact that could burn the room down. "Last 5 have been the best." Lila's laugh was weaker now, her confidence slipping like sand through her fingers. "Wait, seriously, every night?" She scanned me, then Tom, her gaze lingering doubtful like she was searching for the lie. "You still look good, but he can't keep up like that." Her smile was a mask pretending to believe us out of kindness. I let the silence stretch heavy like the air before a storm. Then I smiled. "You'd be surprised what he's capable of." Tom leaned forward, voice steady, eyes locked on hers like a predator. "She makes keeping up easy." Charlie's half-laugh was nervous, like he'd stepped into a game he didn't know the rules to. Hell, I wouldn't believe it unless I saw it. I tilted my head, my pulse quickening, sensing the opening. "What, you think I'm bluffing?" He didn't answer, didn't look away. His eyes caught in mine, daring me to prove it. I let the silence build, the tension coiling tighter like a spring ready to snap. Then I smiled. "You know I wasn't planning a show tonight." I stood, moved in front of Tom, hands on his shoulders, feeling the heat of him under my palms, solid, ready. I looked at Charlie. "Don't say I didn't give you a chance to back out." Tom leaned back, arms spread along the couch, completely at ease, like he'd been waiting for this moment all night. I turned to him, fingers trailing down his chest, slow, deliberate, like I was unwrapping something dangerous. The room went still, the air thick, charged like a fuse about to blow. Then I knelt, my knees sinking into the carpet, the world narrowing to just us. Sarah gasped softly. "What are you doing?" Her voice trembled, caught between shock and fascination. I didn't look away from Tom, my hands moving with purpose, finding his belt, his heat. He was steady under my touch, ready, waiting like he'd known this was coming. I held him slow, deliberate, letting my fingers set the rhythm, giving them time to see what they'd asked for. I glanced over my shoulder, smiling at their frozen faces, their eyes wide, trapped in the moment they'd begged for. I leaned in, no hesitation, my lips brushing him soft at first, then slower, teasing, savoring the closeness. My tongue followed, deliberate, each move a claim, a challenge, a fire I was stoking. Tom exhaled a low sound from deep in his chest, like a beast waking up. He leaned back, one hand gripping the armrest, his breath deepening, steady but heavy, matching my rhythm. My hands and mouth moved together, smooth, unhurried, building something raw, something only for him, but meant for them to see. His hand found the back of my head, fingers light, not pushing, just anchoring, guiding the rhythm like a song we both knew by heart. We moved like it was muscle memory honed over years, a dance we'd perfected in the dark. The room behind me was silent, but not empty. Their eyes burned into us, their stillness heavy like the air itself was holding its breath. I didn't falter, not for a second, every move deliberate, every touch a statement. When I pulled back, I stood slowly, my body fluid, like I was rising from a spell. I unbuttoned my blouse, let it fall, then my skirt, the fabric pooling on the floor, leaving me bare but not exposed, powerful in my choice. I settled onto Tom's lap, facing him, my thighs framing his, my hands steady on his chest. His hands gripped my thighs firm, ready, his touch a promise of what we were about to unleash. I looked up, caught their eyes, Lila, Charlie, Sarah, Eddie, all of them locked on us, unable to look away. "Hope you enjoyed the warm-up," I said, my voice low, taunting, like a dare to keep watching. I moved on him, rhythmic, certain, my thighs wrapping his hips, knees digging into the couch, anchoring me. Each motion was deliberate, controlled, a fire I was stoking with every shift of my body. Tom's hands tightened on my waist, his grip firm, urging me on without taking over. His breath quickened beneath me, a low growl building in his throat. I leaned forward, my chest brushing his, my forehead touching his, our breaths mingling, hot, urgent. Then I pulled back, adjusting, letting my body respond fully, drawing him deeper. He exhaled through his nose, slow, tense, like he was fighting to keep control. The room was still, not silent, but suspended, alive on their stares. A creak from the other couch, Eddie shifting. A whisper from Sarah. "Oh my God." Then Charlie, sharper, disbelieving, "I can't believe they're doing this." I didn't stop. If anything, I moved with more precision, bolder, sharper, like I was carving my defiance into their eyes. My spine arched, head tilting back, each motion a declaration, a claim on what they thought we'd lost. Tom's hand slid along my sides, his warmth searing, pulling my breath into my chest. His body tense beneath me, focused, holding on, matching my fire. "You're unreal," he murmured, his voice rough, like he was tasting every word. I didn't answer, just moved again, deeper, slower, letting him feel every inch of me. He sat up, arms wrapping my back, pulling me close, his lips brushing behind my ear. "Come here," he whispered low, like a secret only we shared. I nodded. He stood, lifting me, our connection unbroken, like we were one pulse. He knelt, lowering me to the rug, its warmth soft against my back, grounding me in the chaos. I adjusted legs, parting instinctively, opening to him, ready, unafraid. That's when I saw them. Sarah knelt beside Eddie, her lips trailing down his stomach, his hands in her hair, guiding her with a gentleness that felt desperate. Lila sat, rigid, legs crossed tight, her face unreadable but flushed like she was fighting something inside. Charlie leaned forward, elbows on knees, eyes fixed unblinking like he'd forgotten how to move. I smiled at them, a slow, deliberate taunt. They doubted us. Now they couldn't look away. Tom knelt between my thighs, one hand pressing my leg, the other near my ribs, his touch steady like he was anchoring us both. Our eyes locked, a silent vow in the heat of it all. He moved closer, his weight settling over me, deliberate, complete. His chest pressed against mine, his warmth flooding every point of contact like a fire we were both feeding. My legs wrapped his waist, pulling him closer, locking us to the rug beneath. The room faded, sounds blurring at the edges, leaving only the rhythm between us, thick, deliberate, consuming. His hand caught my wrist fingers lacing above my head, holding me there, not trapping but claiming. The other gripped my thigh steady, leaving no doubt who I belonged to in that moment. I arched into him, thoughtless, letting the motion pull us deeper. My breath caught, trapped in my throat, as his mouth hovered over my neck, not kissing, just breathing, his restrained tremors rippling into me. He was focused, calm, completely present, like nothing else existed. I tilted my head, saw Sarah now astride Eddie, her body rising and falling, natural, consumed, his hands on her waist, guiding her fire. They weren't just caught up, they were lost in it. Across from them, Lila and Charlie stayed frozen, her arms crossed, tight lips pressed thin, his hands clenched between his knees like they'd forgotten how to breathe. I turned back to Tom, his eyes never leaving me, his weight, his warmth building toward something heavier, inevitable. Without warning, his arm slid beneath me, one under my shoulders, the other under my hips. In one fluid motion, he turned me, my hands gripping the rug, knees wide, the shift sending a chill up my spine. Heat flooded my throat, my body alive, burning. He moved behind me, close, certain, unyielding. No hesitation. I exhaled, sharp, like a release I didn't know I needed. His fingers tightened on my hips, and the rhythm changed faster, relentless, each motion a statement, a claim. The sound of our bodies meeting echoed like thunder rolling through the room. My arms braced, elbows bending, palms flat, holding me steady as I opened to him, giving and taking in equal measure. I glanced over my shoulder, caught Lila's eyes, her gaze locked on mine, mouth parted, stunned, not judging, just witnessing. I didn't blink, didn't look away. I wanted her to see, to know what we were capable of. Then I turned forward, letting everything else dissolve, the rhythm climbing, fierce, unstoppable. Tom's grip tightened my lungs, burning my body taut, teetering on the edge. Something broke free, a sound, half breath, half cry. I leaned forward, trembling, the world blazing with something hot, heavy, brilliant. For a moment, just long enough to draw a breath, he paused, then moved again, harder, fiercer, alive, and he didn't stop. So tell me, if you were him with the room watching, what would you do? Hold back or go further? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. More's coming. Thanks for being here.